Hi, fifth graders. Today we're going to look at some examples of dividing by two-digit numbers. And before I start, I want to tell you that I'm going to switch back and forth between the box method and the traditional method. I don't care which strategy you use. You can pick whichever strategy works best for you. I just want to show both ways so that you can see that the process works exactly the same as dividing by a single digit with the traditional method or the box method. So first, let's look at the number 892 divided by 26. Now you can see off to the side here, I wrote 26 is about and then a blank line. I know at some point when I'm dividing by a two-digit divisor, I'm probably going to need to use some of those estimating skills. So that means in the back of my mind right now, I'm already thinking that 26 is pretty close to 30. So I might use 30 as a helpful or a friendly number to help me as I divide. Let's see if and when we need to use that. So I'm going to start this first example by using the box method. So the box method, remember, is you draw a rectangle in the middle of your page. Your divisor, in this case the 26, goes on the outside. And your rectangle is split into the same number of columns as there are digits in your dividend. So since this is a three-digit number, I need 3 columns. I'm going to put the digits 8, 9, and 2 all the way to the right-hand side of each column. So now I'm going to use the divide, multiply, subtract, and bring up or down rules. So how many groups of 26 can I make out of 8? That's none. 0 times 26 is 0. Subtract that away. I'm left with 8. If you're doing traditional, you bring down the 9. If you're doing the box, you bring up the 8. Now, 89 and 26. This is where that estimating skill is going to come in handy. So I already knew that 26 was about 30. So that means I need to think about if I'm skip counting by 30, what do I hear that gets really close to 89? Well, 89 is about 90. So I'm going to try a 3 as my digit here to see if that's going to be close, because 3 groups of 30 is 90, so maybe 3 groups of 26 will get me close to 89. Off to the side, I'll do my 26 times 3. 3 times 6 is 18, bring down the 8, carry the 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7, so that's 78. Now we always check 2 things. First, is 78 less than 89? Yes, that's good. That means that we didn't choose a number that was too big. Then 9 minus 8 is 1. 8 minus 7 is 1. After we do our subtraction, we check the second place. Is 11 smaller than 26? It is. That means we didn't choose a number that was too small. So that means we can move over both parts of this 11. Now 112 divided by 26 is also a little tricky. But I can think 112, if I'm skip counting by 30s, I knew 3 groups of 30 was 90, and that's going to be too small. So another group of 30 would be 120. 112 is pretty close to 120, so maybe we can try the digit 4 in this spot. So 26 times 4. 4 times 6 is 24. Bring down the 4, carry the 2. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10. Oops. So I'm going to subtract 104. I'll check those 2 places again. Is 104 less than 112? Yes, that tells me I didn't pick a number that was too big. Now when I subtract, I'm left with 8. Is 8 less than 26? Yes. I have no more digits, so that means that 8 is a remainder. So my answer is 34, remainder 8. Let's take a look at another example using the traditional method. 2,950 divided by 67. I'm already going to start thinking that 67 is pretty close to 70, which means I might need to use that friendly digit 7 to help me. So I'm going to set up my divisor, 2,900, my divisor of 67 on the outside, my dividend, 2,950 on the inside. How many groups of 67 can I make out of 29? None, so I'll put a placeholder 0 or an X. How many groups of 67 can I make out of 29? None, so I'll put another placeholder 0 or X. So now, how many groups of 67 can I make out of 295? So 295 is about 280. And I figured that because I remembered to skip count by 70. So as I skip counted by 70, I got really close to 280. I know the basic fact, 28 divided by 7 is hidden in there. So I'm going to try a 4 because 7 times 4 is 28. So let me try 67 times 4. 4 times 7 is 28. Bring down the 8, carry the 2. 4 times 6 is 24, plus 2 is 26. So I'm going to subtract 268. First check, is 268 less than 295? It is, so we know we didn't pick a number that's too big. Then when I subtract, I'm left with 27. So now my second check, is 27 less than 67? It is, so that means I didn't pick a number that was too small. Now I need to bring down this 0. That gives me 270. Well, I just realized that 67 times 4 was 268, and that's really close to 270. So I'm going to put another group of 4 here. I'm going to subtract out my 268, and I'm left with 2, which would be my remainder. So that means my final answer to this question is 44, remainder 2. Let's take a look at one more together. 2,548 divided by 52. 52 is pretty close to 50. I like using the 5s. 5s are really easy facts for me, so that's going to be something that's going to be helpful. I'll do the box method again this time. So my divisor of 52 is going to go on the outside of my rectangle. And this time my rectangle is going to be split into 4 columns for the 4 digits. So I'll write in my 2, my 5, my 4, and my 8. 52 cannot fit into 2 any times. 52 cannot fit into 25 any times. Oops, minus 0. Left with 25. So now I need to bring up my 25. Okay, so now looking at this box, 254 is really close to 250. And I see that basic fact of 5 times 5 is 25 in there. So I'm going to try a 5. So I'm going to put a 5 up here. 52 times 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 1 is 26. That gives me 260. Uh-oh. My first check is going to fail on this one. 260 is bigger than 254. I can't take 260 things away from 254. So that tells me this digit 5 is a little too high. Oops. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you might be too high, sometimes it might be too low. We just need to adjust when we find that. Remember, estimating is trying to get us close. That's exactly what it did. 260 is really close to 254, but in this case, it's too many groups. So I'm going to adjust this to a smaller number of groups, which is going to be a 4. Another reason why we do math in pencil, so that we can fix whatever mistakes we made. So now 52 times 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 5 is 20, 208. My first check, 208 is less than 254. That means the 4 is not too big. When I subtract, I'm left with 46. 46 is less than 52. That means the 4 was not too small. We knew we were in the right spot. Then I'm going to bring up my 46 next to 468. 468 is pretty close to 450. This time, I'm using what I knew down here and adjusting lower. So I'm going to try multiplying by 9. 52 times 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 5 is 45, plus 1 is 46, and look at that, it's exactly 468. Subtract, I'm left with 0. This time I don't have a remainder. My final answer is going to be 49. So when you're dividing by a 2-digit divisor, you might need to use some estimating skills, and those estimating skills might leave you with a number that needs to be changed. That's okay. Every step of the process gives you information to help you get closer to the final answer. We'll do lots more practice with this together, but thanks for watching this video, and I hope it helped refresh your memory of the steps and strategies.